My name is Nassine Saabs.
Let me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? That made you feel sort of foolish when you tried to tell somebody about it? Well, if it has, you have plenty of company, as you'll soon see.
I was 8 years old. We were living in Hollywood. And my mom was working 2 and 3 jobs. It was a mess.
She just was so different than the other kids. She needed something to make her feel good about herself.
In search of a cure for Christina's melancholy, Diana came upon what she hoped would ease Christina's growing pains.
I had this really funky, pitiful guitar, plastic strings, and one night I handed it to her.
I'm gonna tell you what, I could wail on that guitar. I was proud of that. And I could sing.
It became crystal clear to me that Winona was born to be a musician and a singer.
By the time Christina was 10, her family had hit the road again, moving closer to home and the Judds' roots. They ended up finding a hilltop house in a Kentucky town called Morrill. With no telephone or television, Christina turned to her guitar for entertainment.
The agony and ecstasy of living on a mountaintop is you resort to your own creativities. And your mother is following you around, saying, how about that song, The Sweetest Gift, A Mother's Smile? Okay, Mom, I'm gonna learn it. I'd learn it. We'd sit on the back porch or front porch at night with the crickets. And now it's so funny, it's the time I remember the most.
She would sing songs like they were confessional, just ripped out of her diary. You could drop a bomb in front of her and she was oblivious.
Their homespun existence wouldn't last. Free-spirited Diana soon packed up her family once more and moved on, testing their fortunes in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. It was there that Diana's divorce finally went through in 1978. She marked the occasion with a name change, and her daughters followed suit.
I had undergone a metamorphosis, a real transformation in my own life, and I felt that to sort of symbolize it, I wanted to change my first name.
Christina just didn't fit anymore. I needed to be something really wild and free.
14-year-old Christina chose Winona, a name she'd heard in the song Route 66. Diana renamed herself Naomi, honoring a mentally challenged girl from her hometown. And all 3 women changed their last name to Judd. But new names wouldn't improve their meager fortunes. Naomi was barely making enough to get by, and Winona missed the pleasures of a normal childhood and a normal family.
Well, we both had very absent paternal figures, and even our grandparents, who are without a doubt the most positive template in our lives, are people that we only saw a couple of times a year.
Those were the hard times, yes. We had absolutely nothing. But it's okay because every story I had read had that kind of a beginning. And I needed as much tragedy as I, could possibly get.
Through it all, Winona and Naomi kept making music. At 14, Winona dreamed of becoming the next Elvis, and along with Naomi, recorded a demo tape in California. The result was raw and unpracticed, but her soulful voice already stood out.
Let me be your baby.
Naomi got a nursing degree, and the Judds decided they were ready at last to take on Music City. They moved to a farmhouse just outside Nashville. Winona wanted fame and fortune, but she fully expected her mother to make it happen. In the meantime, Winona enrolled at the local high school and fantasized about a future singing and playing her guitar.
All my teachers, all my counselors always said the same thing. We love Winona, but she just does not pay attention.
She'd have magazines inside her books when she was supposed to be studying, and the kids did not know what to make of her.
You know, the way she chose to dress in school and henna her hair and all that stuff. Yeah, she certainly stood out. She got most individualistic and most talented. You know, those were always the votes that she got in the high school yearbook.
The Judds performed anywhere and everywhere they could. Finally, they got a break, appearing as regular guests on a local morning show hosted by DJ Ralph Emery. Flushed with their small success, the Judds didn't mind waking up at 3 in the morning to get to the television studio on time.
Anyway, here they are, the Soap Sisters, Naomi and Winona.
My mom said, now don't you go downtown. My mom said, no, don't you mess around.
He couldn't say our names right that early in the morning, I guess, and he called us the Soap Sisters because my mother made our own homemade lye soap.
For the Judds, the door to fame had finally cracked open. All they had to do was walk through it.
When we started, we didn't have an 8x10 glossy picture. We didn't have a demo tape. We didn't have a band.
I'd literally pretend like I was Elvis and drive and think, man, someday I'm going to be somebody. And everybody's going to look at me and go, I should have been nicer to you.
Coming up on CMT Inside Fame, as Winona's career takes off, clashes with her mother threaten to bring it all crashing down.
I just simply said to them both, I think we should just go home and maybe not bother with a career type thing, because I don't think you're cut out for it.
And later, a secret revealed sheds light on Winona's long hidden past.
Mom was unable to, in her own grief, was not able to tell me. So Ashley told me.
When CMT Inside Fame continues.
My mom said, you learned to sew and cook.
In 1981, the Judds were struggling for gigs in Nashville and honing their skills with performances on local television. Getting to Music City had been tough for 17-year-old Winona. She felt lost and out of place as her mother moved the family from town to town, scraping together what money she could.
We're talking living on peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and I know that sounds corny, but it's true.
We really were so insular. We felt that it was pretty much us against a hard, cruel world.
By night, Winona watched over her 13-year-old sister while Naomi worked as a registered nurse. By day, Naomi sought out the movers and shakers of the music industry, trying to convince one of them to give the Judds a break.
There's a lot of people that come to this town that are talented, but you need more than talent. You need a great deal of moxie, and Naomi had that.
Because of that moxie, Winona's dreams of becoming a star were about to take a giant leap forward through an unexpected meeting between her mother and producer Brent Mayer.
Mama Judd was a nurse in the hospital and was tending Brent's daughter, and recognized that Brent was a producer, gives Brent a tape of her and her daughter singing.
So I listened to it on the way into work, and by the time it's a 30-minute drive, and by the time I got there, I was on the phone.
Brent introduced the girls to Don Potter, a guitarist who would end up co-writing many of their songs. An impromptu kitchen concert convinced Don he was watching country's next stars.
You could feel something in the air, almost tangible, when you really heard him, especially Winona, that little lip going up in the air.
Kentucky, you are the dearest land this side of heaven.
Naomi and Winona's voices blended seamlessly together. But when the music ended, the squabbles began as 18-year-old Winona strove to come of age.
I went over there one day, and you could tell, man, they had been into something, a mother-or-daughter thing, right? You could cut the air with a knife.
It's kind of hard to get anywhere with your mother right there. You know what I'm saying?
But they didn't want me to leave. Like, oh, God, we just can't see us fussing like this. So really, you know, I just picked up a guitar, and we started working, and everything just went away.
After months of practice, Brent Mayer decided the girls were finally ready for the record labels. He managed to get them a rare live audition in front of RCA's top producers. It was the moment the Judds had waited for their whole lives, and the tension between them was unbearable.
Well, that day, going to the audition, we had a knockdown, drag-out fight. So we were just like, I hate you, I'm not gonna sing with you today, and then all of a sudden, we walk into RCA's boardroom for this unheard of live audition.
We go down there, and it's all these guys in suits around this big board table. It was like a movie. It was like I expected the light come on and them to say, where were you on October the 4th, you know?
While the music executives looked on, Winona and Naomi nervously launched into a tune they'd sung together for years.
One day a mother come to a prison
All of a sudden, we were just transposed back to that mountaintop in Kentucky. We were sitting under the fairy tree, we were singing, and it was just us in the world. But I kept looking at these guys like, do you all think she's as good as I think she is?
It's one of the few times to where I presented an act to a label, and you could just feel the electricity in the room.
Wynona's rich voice, coupled with Naomi's flawless harmony, thrilled the label heads. RCA signed the singers on the spot.
Well, gush, gush, cry, cry, tear, tear, you know. I mean, it was just, it was a moment.
I was Elvis, because he was 18. He got signed with RCA. I thought, everybody gets to ride this ride. Now I'm riding it, you know?
The Judds recorded a mini-album of 9 songs and traveled the country visiting radio stations. Their red-haired beauty and down-home charm won the hearts of DJs and program directors across the nation.
Well, I'm high and dry and lonely.
Oh boy,
I am back.
Alive! Alive!
everybody loved them. And all of a sudden, whammo, the records are on the radio and they're making $1 million.
It's just one of those combinations of the look, the sound, the style, everything just worked.
The first single, as I recall, did fairly well, and everybody really liked that sound. The second single, Mama, He's Crazy, was what really captivated people, and everyone was delighted.
Mama, I found someone.
Mama, He's Crazy would become the Judds' first #1 single. It would also establish Wynona as the heart of the group's sound.
I hear this, Mama, I've found someone. And I remember just looking down at the radio and just going, who in the hell is that?
This is certainly something I didn't expect to be doing out of high school, but we're here.
In an instant, Wynona and Naomi were spending all their time recording, touring, and winning more fans with each new single. Their music was down-home country with an edge, appealing to nearly every demographic, along with the fascinating women behind the hits.
Why not be on a rainy day? Why not be to love your cares away? Why not be?
People identify with me because I was a single working mom. They identified with Wynona because she was the rebellious teen, and my God in heaven, how could you survive being on a bus with your mom? I'd go crazy.
And they just happened to be one of the people that's just like you and me that made it, and that made you happy for them.
In just 2 years at RCA, the Judds garnered 2 platinum albums, 6 #1 singles, and the Country Music Association's coveted Horizon Award for promising new acts.
The Judds created new images for themselves by giving each other exotic names. Diana Ellen changed her name to Naomi, and Christina Claire became Wynona.
I think that there was a conscious idea there of self-reinvention. We will remake ourselves into someone else. We will make ourselves into stars.